The Talk of the Town with City Manager Andrew Boucher is proudly sponsored by Clancy's, Shelby County's oldest fast food restaurant. Nothing fancy, just fantastic food. In the studio with me, I have City Manager Andrew Boucher. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am well, Tracy. How are you?
I am doing good.
Good.
Doing really good. It's not snowing, so I'm okay.
It's not snowing. It's not raining. It's a little cold, but you know what? I'll take it. It's been so wet lately, right?
Oh, it rains all the time. Yeah. And it's that weather where you're afraid to wear your good shoes because you might get in the mud accidentally.
Right.
Not that I know from experience that I just had some that I had to wash off.
Keeping it real.
I am, man.
Well, good. Well, also kind of keeping it real. Tomorrow I'm giving a presentation at YP Connect, and this is going to be over at the police department at our EOC building. So we're excited to get to kind of share all of the ongoings. We had a couple of special guests. One of them, Jason Woodard, who is proprietor of Woodard Development out of the Dayton region. He is redoing the Ohio building, and yesterday from Lydia Mahalik, the director of the Ohio Department of Development, announced that project, our project, got a TMUD basically tax credit. So that's a transformational mixed use. There was only one of just a handful of projects across the entire state that received it. So $1.2 million in tax credits are going to this developer and this development. It's only going to continue moving the needle. So just as a reminder, that's 50 downtown apartments and then 2 ground floor commercial tenants. So we are uber excited about the project. If you see the dumpsters that are out there, that's what's going on. We are so excited for that to come online, and I'm sure we're going to be taking tours soon, and we're going to be updating all the residents with all the good stuff to come. So that's happening. Wanted to let everyone know, if they saw out there, SimCorp is moving dirt. This is their phase 5. The phase 1 has kind of been put on hold for a variety of reasons, environmental issues as well as some other things. And not to say that there are real issues. It's just the bureaucracy of working through the federal government and going through the steps in a very large process. And that's what happens when you build a really, really large mega building, and so there's just a lot of hoops to jump through. We've got the continuation of Baroque. The Mills breaks ground tomorrow. If anybody wants to come out there, I think the groundbreaking's at 1 o'clock. So that is the Crawford Hoying and JBM partnership that are building multifamily apartment complex right behind Kroger's on the new Echo Drive.
Okay.
That breaks ground tomorrow. We are so excited about that. Building more and more housing within our community. I think right now, as a total, under development, either under construction or within the development pipeline, we have almost 1,200 doors within that process. So that's really exciting. I mean, it includes Ryan Holmes and everything that they're doing at Baroque. It includes the Mills, includes Visions Development out next to Menards and so many others, to include even Woodard Development downtown. So housing has been an extreme number one priority for City Council and the administration. And it's because we have an immense amount of jobs here, right? One of the most commuter-friendly communities within the entire state. Per capita, we actually have more commuters than any other place in the state.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? If you think
about
it, we have more commuters per capita than Columbus and Cincinnati. Our daytime population swells up to over 35,000. We have 12,600 people that commute inside of our city.
Really?
That's a staggering number. I know that seems low in the scope of things.
No,
but if you talk about for a city of 22,000 people,
right?
I mean, it's amazing. So that we have a lot of jobs. We have more jobs coming on the way. So we got to grow our population, but we got to keep the small hometown feel too, right? We don't want to outgrow of what we are or what we should be.
Right.
But when we start growing population, the median income starts to shift a little bit, right? It starts to move the needle. And then some of these other additional places that I know that our residents have talked about, of wanting a Texas Roadhouse, wanting an Olive Garden, wanting these other things, right? Continued investment within the downtown. Those things start to happen a lot easier because we start checking off more boxes for some of these developers.
Okay.
Right. So it's a snowball effect, and it's almost a chicken or the egg. So if we want to compete with Troy, we got to keep the foot on the gas, and we got to keep driving down the road. That's pretty much where we're at.
Yeah, and again, you explained that I understood.
Yeah.
I just want a Target. I told you that.
So does my wife.
I've told you that before.
Yes.
Because anytime I'll be listening to the growth and development, I'm like, did he say Target? No.
I mean, if you think about it in the scope of where Targets are located, right? So the furthest one north in our region, obviously, is Huber.
Yes.
Right? And so you've got to drive 30 minutes to Huber, North Dayton to kind of get there, give or take. The next one up 75 is Toledo, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
would it not be the perfect location for a Sydney Target, right? I'm going to put that out into the ether on the radio station, so maybe somebody's listening, and we're going to get that back in spades, right? So
I thank you.
yeah.
Because I'm sure they don't listen to me when I say, it'd be nice to have a Target here. Yeah, and it's awesome that Sydney's growing, and then the downtown area, because the Ohio building's been there ever since I've been alive.
It's almost 100 years old.
Is
if
it
you can believe
really?
that. Yes.
And I know all the different businesses that were there. So I think it's great that we're still, like you said, the hometown feel, that we're still utilizing what we have downtown and making it still feel like the small town
Absolutely.
vibe. And so even if we do have like a Target and Texas Roadhouse, if you go downtown, you still feel like you're in that small town.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
I hope I summed that
Fun
up.
fact about the Ohio building, not to belabor the conversation, but there is some old photos out there of like these old Fords, like some of these original model Ford, like Model T Fords.
Oh, yeah.
That were like sitting out in front of it. I actually have one that sits in my office, but so it's a really beautiful photo. But it's the only building. I shouldn't say only building, but it is a rarity to find a building of that size and that tall to fully be built out of wood without steel
Really?
construction. Yeah. If you go into the basement of the Ohio building, because the city owned it for a while before we
Yes.
turned it over, and there are actually huge columns of like solid oak and hickory trees that are holding that structure up. It is one of the most secure buildings probably in downtown. But the technology that they were utilizing and the old growth lumber that we had back in the day when that building was built is what's holding that up still 100 years later. It's amazing.
Really?
Some of them even have the bark on them still because basically they chopped this
Chopped
old
them,
growth
just put
tree
them down there.
and then and it's holding it up. It's crazy.
Isn't that interesting? They just don't build things like they did back then. And the fact that you know the history, I love it.
Yeah.
And my aunt and uncle were born in front of the Ohio building. My grandma
Really?
didn't make it in time to the hospital. So that's been the story in my family.
That's funny.
Where my aunt and uncle were born.
Yeah.
They didn't make it to the hospital yet. She had them right there in front of the Ohio building.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's been the family story for
I would
years.
stick with it. Just keep it going. Clearly not 100-year-old aunt and uncle, but yeah.
No. But yeah, that's been the story for all of my life. And I'm like, some of those family stories you find out later, oh, we just wanted to see if you believed it. They know I believe anything and I'm gullible. So I'm going to find out. I'm going to be reaching out to some of my aunts. I'm going to ask my aunt, not
Tell
my
them
mom.
you want pictures.
I
Proof.
do.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my other aunt. I'm going to ask her because she's the one that knows all the family history. Anyway, all right. But yeah, the Ohio building's been around forever, and I'm glad that they're utilizing all the spaces downtown and
Absolutely.
get more businesses down there as we grow. I love it. I love it. And continue to listen to Talk of the Town with City Manager Andrew Bowser and get all your information. And you can go to the city website and sign up for text messages when there's a road closed that you use on your commute. Boom. Did you see how that worked?
That was great. Great plug.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much. And that was City Manager Andrew Bowser with the Talk of the Town, proudly sponsored by Clancy's, Shelby County's oldest fast food restaurant. Nothing fancy, just fantastic food. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day and a good week. And tomorrow, the YP Connect, good luck on your presentation.
Thanks,
man.
Tracy.
I know you don't need it. You always do great. All right. Coming up next, 4 Non-Blondes with What's Up. It's Hits 105.5.